Color me if you're shocked, but you guys get to see the Reaper again. It's going to be a lot of fun. The Kansas City Chiefs will face the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round, and I'm here for it. I know it's not what everybody wanted, but I'm kind of excited because I don't want to leave any doubt. I don't want any questions. I don't want anybody to say you didn't knock off a great offense. You didn't knock off another team that's been up and down all around and has beaten you in the past. I want all the excuses out of the way. This is going to be a run to remember, and I am absolutely here for it. Now, if we can just get Patrick a helmet, we're going to be in a lot better shape. So we're going to work on that, folks. Welcome to RGR Football. He's Dan Harms. I'm Ryan Tracy. This is Ryan Going Rogue, and I am certainly rogue on a number of things tonight. We're going to give you a rundown. We're going to answer all of your questions. This is your show. We're just doing the deal, and we're going to run all of our answers through you so that you guys get exactly what you're looking for, and we have a special bonus for you. All you members tonight, we are going to be live on a members-only stream, rookie level and above. So if you want to upgrade or if you happen to be a starter, you're already in. Everybody rookie and above can come in here later. We're going to watch the second half of the last wild card game together on a stream here on RGR. So welcome in. Dan, I'm a little excited about that. Are you?
Oh, I'm so excited. This is going to be a big opportunity for us to, kind of just let our hair down for you guys during a football game that, I think it's going to be a lot closer than I guess I actually have picked the Buccaneers in an upset. I think the Eagles lose this football game. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Damn.
I'm excited for it for sure.
I'm ready to hear that. That's great. Dang. Okay, so a lot coming there. This was the hubbub all day. The game got pushed out here. The Steelers just finished. And as I was watching that, I was like, wow, they really got off to a hot start. They're feeling their oats, kind of like the Chiefs did in terms of like running that score up. Now the Steelers came back a little bit, but this was a pretty good ball game, I felt, overall from Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills on the offensive side. I think there's some wrinkles in the defense. We'll talk about that. But where do you stand on what we just saw?
I mean, I expected the Bills to wipe the floor with the Steelers in a clean game. Now, we talked about how if this was more of a wet, rainy game, things like that, then the Steelers would be in their element. Then it would be a little bit different. And it was still closer than I expected it to. Like, if we don't see Mason Rudolph throw an interception at the 2-yard line, that game is tied at one point. So there's a lot of different things that happened in that football game that proved to me that the Bills are basically on the same playing field as the Chiefs. I would say that they're very close to the same level of team. The one difference right now is Josh Allen. What he's doing with his legs is very difficult to defend, and it's what elevates them in these kind of games. So he's playing awesome football. They've got Mr. Frog here that's also about about Josh Allen apparently. But at the end of the day, it's going to be about what Josh Allen shows up, what offense for Kansas City shows up. If we see more mistakes, like we'll get into that, I'm sure. But I'm excited to watch this game. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Chiefs going into Buffalo. Silence the people that just say, all you do is win games at home. You want to know why they win games at home? Because they win games during the regular season. So they get the 1 seed or the 2 seed for the large portion of the time. But you got to go on the road at some point. I'm excited.
You absolutely do. And it for me is going to alleviate all the complaints, all the, hey, you guys didn't have to go on the road. Patrick got to be at home. He slept in his own bed. Yada, 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 yada. Like, I just want all the excuses taken away. If they lose, they lose. They get it done. I want to be able to say they beat the field. And it wasn't like, hey, what happens is what happens. The Steelers were weak and you got to beat them and you had an easy road. I don't want to hear that crap. That's what I'm thinking about right now. But we are not the only ones who feel that Josh is up there in terms of number one. But Alex has a good question here. Alex, one of our members for over 17 months. Appreciate you, brother. And I hope that you're able to join us tonight. The key to beating the Bills is stopping Cook, he says. Do you think that's a higher priority right now than Josh?
I think it's probably number 2. Stopping Josh Allen and his legs is number 1 with a bullet in my mind. But their run game lately has been excellent. They've been bringing in 2 tight ends. They've been bringing in extra offensive linemen. But that does tell you what's coming. It does tell you that. And because for everything that the Bills are, Josh Allen throwing the football to a Quentin Morris and players like that isn't really threatening the linebacker core. So the Chiefs won't have any issues kind of coming downhill when they bring those heavier packages on the field to try and stop the run. But this is going to be a lot of what we saw against the Dolphins in the sense that they're still going to try to run the football. I think that they're going to come out and just try to throw the ball and say Josh is going to win this game for us, because at the end of the day, he's the reason that they were even in most of those games to begin with. And I think that they're still going to go out and try and do that from this game. But we got a whole week to see what these teams are going to end up looking like. I know the Bills got banged up. We're going to talk about it. You guys have some questions about that, but yeah, this is going to be fun. Like, this is going to be a fun week of prep. This is part 3, guys. Part 3 in a series that the Chiefs have won and obviously nearly lost the last time that they played, found a way to pull it out. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be great. There's going to be a lot of good conversations this week. I'll be talking with Joe Marino over on Locked On. Make sure you enjoy that. Joe and I will go around in the offseason as well about the draft, and it's always a good time, so check that out. Dan will be over on his draft podcast as well. Don't forget that, as fantasy guys as well. Tons going on. We have tons of content for you. Now, before we get to it, I just want to say, if you want to get in the chat tonight, feel free to jump in. Super chats get an answer every single night. Q&A Monday night belongs to you guys, so we're going to let you run it. I have a ton of questions. We're going to get to them all. I guarantee you get an answer for a super chat. If you want to support the rest of the channel, you can do it through going through one of our sponsors. We'll talk about one of them coming up here in a minute. Grab the gear in the gear store. That's always around. Or just, hang out. We're going to have the member stream tonight. I'm looking forward to that, and I think you guys will as well. A lot of gifted memberships have been going out lately. If awesome. You got one, it's at the draft level, the draft pick level. You need to upgrade to get on the stream tonight to the rookie level. If you want to do that, super, super simple. Just go in there to the join button or upgrade button, and it should be right there. Joe, one of our members, asked, did you see Willie Gay state that he's probably his last year with the Chiefs? I did not see that. Did you?
I did. I've seen the tweet, and we have confirmation that it was from his account on Twitter. So there's right now, I'll be honest, I'm not trying to read too much into what a player says during the postseason, mostly because after that's when we're going to see all of this come to fruition. And I'll tell you right now, we only know half the story. We only know Willie Gay's side. It's very possible his representation just said, don't expect them to come with an offer. And Willie's just assuming they're not going to get one. So everything right now before free agency, before all that happens, try not to read too much into it. And also, if anything, it would be added motivation for Willie Gay. If he knows he's going to be a free agent not going into Kansas City, this is motivation to play better than he has the rest of his career to not only win the Super Bowl, but get a contract. So kind of be happy that he's out here thinking about it, because he knows he's trying to get paid going forward.
Yeah, I mean, even more so, it's a subtle jab from his representatives. Hey, we're not coming back, man. You're going to have to pay us if you want us back.
Yeah, tweet it out.
Like, negotiations have begun.
Yeah, right. Like, hey, Chiefs, we assume you're not even going to bother offering us. Okay,
right,
okay.
It's like walking into a restaurant and telling the hostess, by the way, I totally forgot my wallet. I ain't paying for this shit. I mean, that's basically what they're doing at this point.
Pretty much.
You gotta love it. Ozzy, Bills had backups as 5 out of 7 in their secondary players today. If the O-line can hold, the Chiefs should be able to feast. No. Elam played pretty well. I'll give him that. Was Poyer out there? I thought he was. Maybe I missed it.
Yeah, he was. Okay. He got hurt a little bit at one of the plays, but he did play the rest of the game.
Okay. Those are the two that I'd be looking at. But yeah, I got to feel like there's going to be opportunity there. It's again avoiding the pass rush like we saw last week. When Patrick doesn't have guys in his face, when you can control the pass rush, you're in good shape in this offense. And I think that's going to hold true right down the line. Now, I want to get to all your questions, but first, we're going to ask you guys to kind of help us out, help the people that help us, because that's always something that goes over very well. And if you want to get into this, we really recommend these guys because it's super, super good. The crown's yours. You just got to go grab it. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official betting partner of the NFL playoffs, is bringing you the offer that'll make these playoffs electrifying. New customers can get $5 right now on any game and get $200 back instantly in bonus bets. That is a great deal. And right now, we don't even know who the Chiefs' next opponent is going to be, as it's just wrapping up. It looks like it's going to be the Buffalo Bills. We'll tell you that more tomorrow. But right now, you can get in all the action for Josh Allen, for Patrick Mahomes, for Travis Kelce, for it all. All those lines are being formed right now at DraftKings, and you can get in on it. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use our code RGR. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets only at DraftKings Sportsbook. It makes life super simple. Use our code RGR. The crown is yours. Now, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. If you have a problem gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, 778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-9-7777 and visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Use dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions. Terms and responsible gaming resources are available as well. As you can tell, I recorded that a little bit ago before we absolutely knew. It was a 7-point game when I had to get that done. That goes. But now it is officially the Chiefs versus the Bills, and I'm looking forward. I think it's going to be a good game. We're going to run it all down for you all week long, so don't miss any of that. Chris Pete asks, if the Chiefs keep Snead and tag and trade Jones, how far do you think the defense will drop from number 2? Can they still be a top 10 unit without him?
Whew. There's a question for you. So I'll start here because I think that this defense is really structured from the secondary down. They generate pressure based off of a lot of help. Chris Jones creates a lot of one-on-ones. He's going to be a big focal point, and obviously Charles Omenihu is not going to be Chris Jones. But I do think that Charles Omenihu taking over for Chris Jones, if that's the route that they take, we don't know. He's played pretty well on the outside, but he's been getting pressure consistently on third downs and such inside on the interior. So there is some positional flexibility there. I think you can do enough, bring in some other pass rushers, look at defensive tackle in the draft, in free agency well enough to keep the secondary intact and keep, getting some added pressure because the secondary is so good. So they can still be a top 10 unit in my mind without Chris Jones. It definitely makes it much more difficult because of the attention that he brings.
Yeah, I will not argue with you at all. I will say this too, that Chris draws a lot of attention that allows the rest of the front to function.
Correct.
If you can get someone else at a lower budgetary number that can still force offensive line units to shift to them so they have to double, you can still get some things done.
Yeah.
I will say this too. They've been playing Omenihu mostly on the outside. He goes back down inside. He's a guy that can force double teams to himself as well. Yes. So there are a couple of options here. And really it is about getting somebody to draw the doubles and freeing up everyone else. So let's stay optimistic. At least I'm going to try. How does Reed keep KT, MVS, and others from giving the game away? Don't throw on the ball. Don't put him on the field.
I was about to say, is KT going to play? Is he going to play? Because right now it feels like he's. I don't really know what's going on with Kadarius. He had injury stuff, but we haven't heard a word about what actually it is. Right? We have like a heel ankle thing, but he practiced in full on Monday, and all of a sudden he was gone. If I were, again, put tinfoil hat on, I would say the Chiefs said, you have not done anything to deserve anything, and we're not going to let you play in the postseason. That's what that kind of feels like with the tinfoil hat on. But also, Kadarius Toney gets hurt at the drop of a hat. So what do I know?
Yeah, hey, it is what it is. QB shouldn't be able to slide on designed runs. Changed my mind. I mean, it's real simple line of delineation for me. I agree with you if they're past the line of scrimmage. If they're not, they are still in the ability to drop back and pass, and that exposes themselves. So I think they should be able to slide there. But yeah, once you're a runner, you're a runner. I don't have any problem with that. You got one?
No, my problem is the fake sliding stuff that
Yeah.
Josh Allen pulled earlier today, and we saw Kenny Pickett actually do that in two or three seasons ago when he was at Pittsburgh, and the next day they banned that from college
Like
football.
that.
That's not going to happen in the NFL, but it should. There something should go out about it. Maybe he gets fined for that because that is in effect a way of I don't really want to call it cheating because you have to be an extremely good athlete to be able to pull it off. But it's ridiculous. Let's be honest. It
It
just
is.
trying to say, I know that you can't hit me if I go to slide, and then all of a sudden I'm going to keep going. It's not my favorite thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I get you. Ozzy, another one, not Chiefs related, but how about Leipold turning down UW to stay at KU? What a time to be alive. I was torn. Those are my two schools. I attended two universities. Those were both of them. So, yeah, like I was happy, but I said on social media just before he announced that he was withdrawing that I was hoping that he stayed, and I am pumped that he did it. I think that's a really good sign for the program going forward. What players might we get back from injury this week? Thanks, Jeremy. Another one of our members. Appreciate you, bud. What are you thinking, Dan?
There's just one that possibly could come back, and it's Sky Moore, from what I understand. I think that he's probably the one that can get activated off the IR this week if he's doing well. Andy Reid said last week he was doing good ahead of schedule, is what they pretty much kind of alluded to. I don't expect Kadarius Toney to play. I don't expect him to do anything in this postseason. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Maybe if the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl, he's ready to go. But I don't know.
I'm with you. Thanks, Jeremy. Callie, hope you're doing well. Thanks for the super chat, bud. Is there anything in particular that you guys worry about from what we've seen from Buffalo today? They didn't get frazzled enough. They didn't get forced into the mistakes that they generally make if you get after them. So I can't say that game made me nervous at all. It's just that the Chiefs will have to be who they are and get after Josh in that offensive line a little bit more. And I think they'll have a similar outcome.
It's just peak Josh Allen. When peak Josh Allen comes onto the field, like he's a superhuman quarterback. He is. And we saw ball placement today that was insane. It was awesome. It didn't matter how good your coverage was. When you play the game the way that Josh Allen sometimes can get to, it's very difficult to play defense. So that's the only thing. Like, and at the end of the day, we've seen that in the postseason. We have seen the Chiefs go up against peak Josh Allen. We've seen it. Yeah. I'm not going to say that I'm worried about it. The only thing, and I'm going to say this the whole week, if the Chiefs offense does not beat themselves, they can beat any team in the NFL on any given day. So that's all I got.
I'm totally with you. Thank you, Callie. Appreciate you, buddy. And don't go to the ballgame. I'm just saying.
Appreciate it. Please stay home.
Metal, great to see you, buddy. Do you think the Chiefs could go for an O-lineman, defensive tackle, or wide receiver first round and then get other two in rounds 2 and 3? Because all three are needs. They need to address them in the draft. Okay, so one of each of those. No, those will not be the top 3 picks. I guarantee you there will be an offensive tackle in there. I don't care if they go out and sign somebody. They will draft another tackle.
It's right there. I mean, he said O-line. I assume he means tackle.
Maybe, yeah. But I mean, I want to be very specific.
I get that. No, there will be. There will be.
But I do like that you're including defensive tackle because I think that's a possibility. Although I will say, depending on free agency, they may choose to lighten up. They just brought in Bugs. I think he could be a guy that kind of, if they decide not to bring Derek Nottie back, and Nottie's had a great career, the injury thing is an issue. I'd love to see him back. But if they don't, I think Bugs would be that run stopper role. They got to get more pass rush there. So I think they might be shopping in free agency because DT is going to cost you, I think, less than some of the other things you're going to have to fix. So
some of the younger guys with pass rush upside that maybe haven't hit their potential yet that can with Joe Cullen is what they'll be looking for, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Ozzy, Chiefs didn't have Pacheco, Trenkle, or Donovan Smith last time they played the Bills. What are the impact of those players in the upcoming game? It's a huge net positive for Pacheco. It is a net positive for Trenkle and is a net negative for Smith.
If he plays like he did on Saturday, I'll say it's a push. Because I think Donovan Smith was good enough. We'll say
Yeah, but
that
against
in
that pass rush,
that
I
game.
don't foresee that happening again.
And again, that's the thing is you have to hope that he plays like that away from Kansas City. It's not going to be easy. You're going to get better pass rushers all across the defensive front for the Buffalo Bills, even with some of the injuries that they've had elsewhere. So Von Miller is not what he was last year before he got hurt, but he's still going to come give you reps. And Donovan Smith
Especially-
will lose to Von Miller. I can tell you right now, he's going to lose at least one or two. So it's about how the ball comes out. But yeah, those two players, Pacheco and Tranquil, are huge boosts to both sides of the ball.
Yeah, Tranquil's going to help you inside against the the tight ends, and a little bit against Cook and Pacheco. I mean, it's in a reversal of fortune. Pacheco is the Mahomes multiplier here because he takes all the pressure off Pat, and the play action helps a whole lot more. A significant bump. Thanks, buddy. Jonathan, thank you, sir. How upset were you guys in the horrible block in the back call on Jawan when he got pushed from behind into the Miami player on a non-defensive holding on Hardman when he saw the ref? I'm not upset at all because I got to tell you, this is life when you're a defensive lineman. Nobody calls you when you are hitting somebody from behind. Defensive lineman can do that all damn day. The fact that he fell into another player out front of him, it's unfortunate, but it's not letter of the law. That's the way it's written. Hardman's a whole different thing, not one that I want to actually address, but hey, do you got something?
I was steamed. I was steamed about McCole Hardman, and that's a different level of the McCole Hardman experience. Go sell the hold. Don't stop middle of your route and put your arms up. Instead, put your arms out after to try to catch the football and make the referee see that you got held.
Yeah, I agree. All right, folks, we're going to go into overdrive here and try to answer your questions fast because we got another ball game coming at you, and I got to eat in between. So let's get after it. Do you think that the KC defense can help us get to the big dance, and how the road looks now? Is it with us going to Buffalo and Ravens taking on the Texans? Yes, and I'll tell you this: quarterback play is C.J. Stroud. If he's got somebody who matches up at some point and can get an edge, he can put numbers up. I don't think it's a done deal that the Ravens win that game.
I don't either. And I think Mike McDonald's going to have a game plan for CJ Stroud, but that's going to be fun. And this defense can absolutely win them a Super Bowl. I have zero questions about that.
I'm with you. Andrew, I feel like this game comes down to who makes more mistakes, Josh Allen or the Chiefs offense. Completely agree with that.
100% agree with you, Andrew.
Yeah, you nailed it. Will Spags put a spy on Allen all game, or if he runs him like a fullback he wants to be, make him think twice about running? He'll put a spy on him sporadically. He will not dedicate a guy all game because he does want to give that away. But there'll be somebody watching most of the damn time, I will tell you. It might not be the same guy as the key.
I think simulated pressure is going to be pretty key here. You'll see guys drop out, but keep an eye on Josh Allen while they're getting into their zone, but it won't look like a spy kind of situation.
The two guys to watch the most are going to be Tranquil and Chanel for me because they are pretty intimidating linebackers, one with speed, one with power. So, yeah, they'll both be keeping an eye on them, though. Kyle, how different would the Texans-Panthers seasons have been if they switched quarterbacks? I thought CJ was a no-brainer after his college playoff game and combine performance. That's a good question. And I actually think that it probably would have benefited Bryce more than CJ. CJ would have been okay. But Bryce Young needs an offensive line. And no offense, if you got Tunstall guarding your backside, you're in a lot better shape than what he has in Carolina. No offense. I thought Icky was going to be better than he is. But I think you would have – I think part of what's going on with Bryce is you didn't set him up in a franchise that actually has the assets that he needs to do well.
Correct. And nothing's going to help. I think the Carolina Panthers are going to ruin Bryce Young, and there's nothing that he can do about it because Dave Tepper is one of the worst owners in football.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's see here. 3 biggest keys to the divisional game. Don't turn it over. Run the damn ball, Andy, and bring your A-game pass rush.
Don't lose Josh Allen. There is nobody else behind Josh Allen on that offense I'm worried about. We've seen L'Jarius Sneed shut down Stephon Diggs already this year. That's something I'm not super worried about. Offensively, stay on schedule. Stay on schedule. That's it. I don't care if you're throwing the ball. I don't care if you're running the ball. stay on schedule, and then catch the football.
I like you. I can mimic you at this point. How many Bills players were banged up tonight? Do we have the advantage in that regard? There was a significant number of them, and I would say the Chiefs are probably a little bit better off right now.
Would agreed.
Okay. Let's see. Joseph, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Super chatters, I swear you guys keep us running, and we very much are happy that you're here. Thank you very much. Excited for Mahomes on his first playoff road game. I think it will be another classic. Also heard a Doomsday doesn't tip at restaurants. That should scare most teams away. Not the Chiefs, however. Doesn't tip at restaurants. Now, wow, okay.
Joseph, every week, man, every single week, I want to hear something different you got to say about why teams shouldn't draft Rome Odunze. Bring it, keep it going. I love it. Thank you for the 10 spot, man.
And you're low key gonna make me slightly happier when they don't draft him, because generally I'll be crying, so it's gonna be okay. But thanks, Joseph. Appreciate
it, man.
Scott, which player should we ship to the Raiders on a futures contract just before the Bills game? I say give them nothing. Never give the Raiders anything.
I'm good.
I mean, unless it's venereal disease. I mean, if you got somebody COVID, send them over there. Maybe, I don't know. No, forget about it. Don't give them nothing. I wouldn't. Let's see. Oscar, no question, but wanted to say what's up and thanks for all the content. Much appreciated. And let's beat the Bills. I am with you, Oscar, and thank you for saying it. And thank you for being here.
Appreciate you,
as well
Oscar.
as everyone else. We love seeing you guys. How likely is it that Nagy's in the same position next season, Dan? And do you want him back?
It's still pretty likely. If again, at this point, they got to the divisional round when people kind of wrote them off. I think it's almost a done deal. But I would, at this point, I'd like to see somebody different, not from Andy Reid's comfort zone. I'd like to see a little bit of a different voice in there, personally. Someone that Andy respects, and not necessarily that he's worked with directly before for quite a long time. So that's me. I
agree. And I have to say, if I had to pick from a staff, the number one staff I'd be trying to pilfer right now is the San Francisco 49ers. Particularly for their run game aspects. Kyle does a great job with that, and it trickles.
Or the Rams. Them and the Rams.
Yeah. Metal. If the Chiefs go for a DT in one of the early rounds, who do you see them going for? My money would be on Michigan DT Murphy. Really? Huh. Not the big dude, Jenkins. What are your thoughts, Dan and Ryan? I'll tell you the guy that I like the most.
I think that's who he means, because Byron Murphy plays for Texas and Jenkins plays at Michigan. So I think he may have confused the two, Metal Rocker. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. Thank you for correcting me, because I didn't put that together. Yeah. I do like Murphy. Jenkins, man, when I look at his snap counts, I don't see enough. So, like, I need somebody. Yeah.
You won't see enough for me because they rotate a ton. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I like Jenkins a lot. If they could get him on day 2, that's what I would be looking for, because that's another guy that played in one of the best defensive fronts in football. They can handle a lot of the smart stuff about football because of what they were doing. Minter did a fantastic job with that front secondary. You want players from that kind of a defense that know that they can handle the NFL game. So I would like Jenkins on day 2.
Yeah, man, I can get down. I like Murphy a lot.
He's going round 1.
Yeah, I mean, he might get into the 20s, but you still got to trade up 10 places to get him, and I just can't see doing that. What linebacker rotation we to see in this game? I feel the Bills are going to try and run it a bunch with Allen and Cook, but the Chiefs shut it down. I feel they will win. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, Josh. I think they're going to start with their basics. You know, it's going to be Tranquil, Bolton, and Willie out there. Leo will. And especially if they want to give a bulky look, they'll probably drop Trank a couple of times and just kind of move it around. I think I think Cam Jones, if I remember right, came away with a little injury, right? So we'll see if he's active or not. That'll be interesting too, because I felt Cam played pretty well in his time. So I like to see him get a little bit more, especially if they can get a lead, put him in. Hey, I'm all for it.
Agreed.
This one's for you, because Samurai has always got the good questions. Do you think that Herring got the nod over FAU because of how well Herring played versus the Chargers.
I won't say it was necessarily because of one game against the Chargers. I'll be very honest about that. I think it was more about what they're looking for in the postseason, and he's been there. FAU is, again, still learning, and I think it's a great opportunity for him to learn. Herring has been playing better. They can also really use him on the interior. And now with an injury to Derek Nottie, Herring's play might become even more valuable for them because he can play on the inside a bit more. He's not going to be a defensive tackle in that same sense, but he can play some of those snaps if you desperately need him to, because he is a bigger defensive end. So I think it was just more of, we have a ton of rotational value at defensive end, and we might need more at defensive tackle, at wide receiver. So FAU, we're going to go ahead and inactivate you so we have more flexibility elsewhere.
Yeah, it was the need for Pennell for me against the run.
Yeah, that too.
And FAU doesn't play the run. So he needs that year to get ready.
I just want to address this right now. We're going to getting lots of questions about Willie Gay. We addressed it right at the top of the show, guys. So if you want to hear that part, you can go back and listen to it there. But a lot of people are wondering. We have our thoughts about it like in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, just grab the red button and slide it all the way back. Even if you're watching live and you join late, you can go back and watch the beginning. We're at minute 31. You can come right back and you'll get caught up. Jay, can we beat the Ravens? I completely believe that they can beat the Ravens. Do you disagree?
I don't disagree at all. Again, I think they can beat anybody on any given day with this defense in the way that we know the team can operate.
I agree. Cody, thank you. Same question for the Bills. Certainly they can beat the Bills. I think it comes down to a question of familiarity. Maybe you get body punched a little bit more because you've seen them more, and it's a different obstacle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. This defense is different than they've seen, though. The one thing I will say is that the Chiefs are going to be familiar with what Leslie Frazier, or not Leslie Frazier, the ex Leslie Frazier, but what Sean McDermott does on their defensive side, because they're a very well coached unit. They play hard. They're in the right spots most of the time. They're going to get a little bit different, but the one big difference in this football game is going to be the Chiefs' defense. It is better than the Bills have ever played. I think it's even better now than when they played earlier in the season. So that's going to be fun to watch.
I think you're probably right. Thank you, Cody. Appreciate the support, pal. Oscar, looking at the offseason, do you think that there'll be a big splash signing? Who do you think is the big splash signing? Pick one.
I think it's going to be Christian Wilkins. I think that's going to be the splash signing, because at the end of the day, I think Mike Evans is an extremely loyal person. Even though I'd love to see him and I want them to go after him, I think he's going to end up back in Tampa Bay because he loves Tampa Bay. He loves that team, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer in my book, and he was going to want to stay there. So I think it's going to end up being a guy like Christian Wilkins.
I would love that because that basically means you're getting top tier defensive tackle play, not elite. He's not Chris.
Yes, correct.
But you're getting top tier. You're spending less. You're trading Chris, and you're getting multiple picks. So that scenario, if you can't work it out with Chris Jones at a number that works, that's a pretty dang good scenario. So I'll take it. Hit the store if you guys want some of the gear, whether old, new, or Chiefs Kingdom. You can get it on hats. You can get it on sweaties. You can get it whatever you want. I trust Snead and McD on Diggs. What's the game plan to slow down Knox and Kincaid? It's Willie Gay and Drew Tranquil. And it's going to be a little bit of Chamari Connor, I think. I think they're going to rotate and leave Mike Edwards a little bit farther back than he has been until maybe the last 2 weeks, and let Chamari come up a little bit more. What do you think?
That, and I think Justin Reed still has to be a factor there. He's been pretty good against Knox in the past, and Kincaid's a bit different. So you might get Willie Gay. You might get more Chamari Connor because he brings that kind of slot versatility like Kincaid does as a tight end pseudo slot. So you're going to see a lot of different people covering him. I don't think that they want Kincaid or Knox to get comfortable with the player that is covering them. So you will see a lot of differences there.
Gotcha. Following up as well, can Snead bully Diggs like he did Tyreek? He can get physical with him. Diggs has more physicality to, like Tyreek uses his speed to evade people. Diggs will come back at you. He just isn't up to the task.
I think he's hurting this year too. Like he doesn't look as explosive as he usually is. So I think Snead can bully Stephon Diggs, and you also might get some penalties out of it because Diggs is likely
He'll
to
take a
hit
swing
back.
at you.
He'll take a swing.
I wouldn't mind seeing him and be a Chief. I'm just going to tell you right now.
I know. I love it. I honestly would love it.
Now that Harrison's up on the burner, he said, Tommy's just, okay. Tell him I said that, though. FLDB, thank you, buddy. Fact that Patrick plays just as good away from Arrowhead as he does in Arrowhead. Yeah, I mean, it's a significant thing when you're game planning to be able to say, hey, we're not going to take a step back just because we're not in our yard. It's huge.
They've played much better on the road this year than they had at home, too. Like, don't forget that. They've played better away all year long, except for in Denver. That's a different situation.
Yeah. Tom, welcome home, and thanks for the super chat, buddy. 3 flight delays later, we finally made it back to Nashville. Fun weekend. It was cold game, but we were part of history. Sent you pics, and I did see them, and you are the man. Braver than me, I will tell you that. I'm glad you had a good time, and you're not alone. My wife and daughter are just about home from the airport too, because they've been delayed all day long.
Nice.
So we've been a 2-2 family here for the last couple of days. Welcome home, Tom. Kev, thanks for your super chat, buddy. Chiefs got to do what Green Bay did and load up on wide receivers, tight ends, etc. 3-4 in the draft. I also think OT might be better in first round because of the wide receiver class is deep, and that may be it's an availability is going to come out. But I will say, Chiefs have been known to take chances on athletic tackles that they feel can grow into something. They might be apt to do that and just go all-star, top name wide receiver to get going.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like this year is the year they take that swing at wide receiver because of the bets that they made, and they're going to try aggressively to correct those, whether it's free agency, whether it's draft. I tend to lean both, and I think that that's what you might have to do. Brett Veach has talked about how many times they want to surround Patrick Mahomes with weapons. This year they made a bet, and that bet fell through. I think he's going to be doubling down on that bet going forward.
Yeah, I think you got to be right. I don't think there's any way around it. Thanks, Kev. Appreciate you, buddy. Jason, thank you. Bills, our receivers are going to do anything in this game. I believe our corners are going to mug them up. I love that you use that term. And Jason, thank you. We appreciate you for being here.
Thank you, Jason. Giving us another reason to use the term mug up.
And I'm going to tell they're going to get creative because this is the Khalil Shakir that I've been waiting for, that I saw on Boise film a couple of years ago, that I thought could be a slot guy in Kansas City as well. He's going to be the odd guy out because you're going to give Gabe Davis enough respect to put either LJ or McDuffie on him. So it's going to be about Shakir. I think he's going to have the most opportunity of their wide receivers. So I think I'm with you, dude.
Yeah. Just it's about shutting down the secondary pass catchers. I think Dalton Kincaid's going to be the guy, him and then Shakir. That's who you got to stop. And if they can take Stephon Diggs out of that football game, they're going to stand a pretty good chance.
No, not really.
So the ladies just got home, everybody. So give me just a second. Dan said hi. How you doing?
Oh, hi. Hi, Dan.
Hello.
Welcome. I'll be up shortly.
Okay.
No.
Hey, we were just talking about you.
Yeah, right. And that's the way it rolls around here. So, hey, thank you, Jason. Nikki, you should definitely be proud. Ridiculous cold, but you were there. You were one of the brave. Be proud of it. I would too, man.
You guys, my wife and I tried every last ditch effort to get there. We really did. We wanted to get to this football game, even with the cold. Couldn't find anybody to watch the daughter before the game, so we couldn't go. But all of you out there, you get the hat tip. You get multiple hat tips. Just all of them. You guys were incredible. Hats off to you guys for going there and enduring the frigid temperatures and coming out on the opposite side with a win.
Now I'm in trouble. Okay, kids are home too.
I was about to say, did you embarrass the kids on the way?
Yeah, she's like, don't make me turn around. She's not as natural as Avery. That's all right. We'll work on her. So kudos to you, Nikki. And yes, definitely be proud. I would put a picture up. How do you win on each side of the ball? I assume you mean against the Bills, Jason. And thanks for joining the memberships. Nice to see you, buddy. Jackson, sorry. Be who you are. Double down on what you've done the last 2 ball games where your starters played, not the Chargers game. Be who you are and attack vertically, attack aggressively, attack physically. Just stay on the attack, and I think everything's going to be all right.
The Chiefs came out against the Dolphins, and on the first drive, when they ran the ball, they ran single back power and then pin pull. That's some gap scheme for you, and they got 10 plus yards out of both of them. They need to continue to be effective and efficient in their gap power scheme. Continue to bring it out because they can really get after it. I think this offensive line starting to feel themselves a little bit, and that's what you need to win in the postseason.
And every week that we complain, oh, they're not going all out, they're not selling out to the regular season. This is why, because they start to pick up speed when it gets cold and it's January. And I think that's something even I forget in the throes of it, because I want domination, I want the removal of questions, but honestly, it pays off, and Andy's got a system, and this is why the Bengals have fallen away. The Niners had to have a bad season or two and come back to get back to where they are now. Bengals are nowhere to be found. Kudos to the Bills because they're trying to hang with the Chiefs, but Chiefs have been up there every year, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
How do you think that the O-line holds up against the KC pass rush? I got to take a look at what they've done since they played last. But last time I felt like it was there to be had on the edges. The inside I was a little concerned about, and I thought Mitch Morse played very well last time these 2 teams played. What did you think?
You can get after them with some blitzes off the edge. We saw a couple of them today from the Steelers get there, and Josh Allen's athletic ability beat them. You got to be sound if you're going to blitz. You have to get that angle right, and then you got to have some complementary help. You have to have somebody else win. So Chris Jones, Charles Omenihu, George Karlaftis are going to be very, very important in that effort. I think the big thing that we're going to see against the offensive line is maybe you try to get some stunts a little bit. We saw Charles Omenihu come free on a couple of stunts against the Dolphins. I think they continue to do that and really try to play some games with the Buffalo Bills offensive line because, again, I think they can be had if you do it correctly.
Agreed. Corbin, what's the best offensive scheme against Buffalo? It seems like they struggle with mesh. It's not necessarily mesh, although I think that worked last time. I want to see the big over drags, especially if you have maybe Elam and you're going to have Poyer. For me, it's about attacking Poyer in a way that puts him to a decision point and you carry across his face. Whoever comes, the guy that crosses, have an opportunity in my mind.
Yeah, I think that you can do a lot of different things, but high-low concepts are going to be important as well. They did a couple of those, and they're not going to get the blitzes. They're just not going to get the blitzes that Miami threw out there. Miami was down 3 starting defensive ends, and Fangio had no choice. He legitimately had no choice. They're going to have edge rushers. So this is going to be find the soft spots. They're going to play some man. They're going to play some zone, but they're going to mix it up. If you get man, if you find a way to get that tell, you've run the mesh. You run into defenders. You find a way to kind of get around them because Rashee Rice has been excellent on those. And then he also showed out in some of those zone stops. So get the matchups. It doesn't really matter what schemes you get because Andy Reid schemes everybody open. It's just about getting into those spots and really executing when it counts. Patrick was fantastic against the Dolphins. It's going to also count on him to be as good as he was once again.
Agreed. Kev, thanks you, buddy. That's number 2 for you. Any top wide receiver who'd be better in certain areas than 15? Top QB to be better than Patrick. I mean,
okay.
I believe
I got one.
Go for it.
I think Matthew Stafford is better at taking closer window throws and not necessarily carrying, but also pinpoint accuracy in those situations, mostly because Sean McVay unleashes him to do so. Patrick is not unleashed to do that in Andy Reid's offense. It's more about open players. And with practice, you can get better at that. And I think that that's hurt his ability to throw the ball down the field in some instances consistently because he doesn't do it a ton. And Andy Reid doesn't ask him to really test windows as much, especially with these pass catchers.
Yeah, and that's fair. Yeah, I think you covered it very well. Thanks, Kev. Appreciate you. I'm not
Appreciate
going
you,
to dig too deep there. Tom, thank you again, buddy. Game takeaways that you had from being there live. George was a beast. I'm glad to hear you say that because I felt he had a really nice game as well. We need to help on third downs without Jarek. Fair enough. Play better run defense going forward. It's just about being sound. They're going to get a couple of theirs, and Cook's going to have a breakaway at some point, and probably so will Josh. If that's the only explosives you give up, you're in good shape and you win this ball game. So I'm with you, but I feel like they're close to being shored up.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. Latrell, what is up with Creed's snapping issues that creep up on him from time to time? Honestly, I don't know. It feels like he gets rushed to me in the snap count or in what he's adjusting to. I don't know.
I can't tell you. This really only cropped up this year. It's been an issue this year, and I mean there were some low snaps, but it wasn't as prevalent as it has been this year. I don't know if it's a symptom of just being on the Chiefs this year. You have to find a way to deal with some mistakes, and he's just doing his part. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a little concerning. It is a little concerning because one of those is going to have a huge impact if they consistently happen, especially in the postseason.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. Scuba Steve, thanks for the 20 spot, buddy. Nice to see you back. Chiefs have lost 2 times when they play a team. The second time when other than the Dolphins, but held 2 of them to 7 or less points. Do you think we can do that to the Bills? And what does Casey need to do to win and not lose themselves?
I assume
basically?
beat themselves, yeah.
Yeah. We kind of went over what we think the initial goals are. We'll have the full game plan for you on Friday. Don't miss that one. But I have trouble seeing them holding the Bills down under 14 points. Bills are more explosive than the Dolphins are, and I think more adaptable to what they have to change.
Yeah, I think this is more about the offense. The defense is going to do what they can against the Bills. They're going to give up some points here and there, but don't plan on seeing what you saw on Saturday. Weather's going to be different. It's not going to be the same, and this is a quarterback that can throw in any weather. So that's so much I'm not worried about. I'm more worried about the consistency of the offense. It's just about execution. Again, if they execute and they don't beat themselves, the Chiefs win this game because I do think that they're a better overall team than the Bills, and they're healthier. Be very honest.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Scuba, thank you. Appreciate the support, brother, and hope you can join us later.
Thank you, Scuba.
Kurt, hope you'll be there as well. Why
Yeah.
doesn't Noah get more targets? And, that's something that we ask quite often ourselves around here. Only because you play behind a Hall of Famer, but you still ought to get him more. And maybe they're just holding back on him. Maybe he's the guy that's going to make up for some of the drop issues and stuff that the wideouts have had. I don't know.
This would be a great game for him to get more targets. If Bernard reported he has a sprained ankle, the x-rays were negative. 6 days or 5 days rest. Do you think he's going to be ready to go on Sunday to be fully healthy? I'm not sold that he's going to be ready to go in terms of change of direction. That's someplace that you can attack at the linebacker position with Noah Gray. So it might be in their playbook right now to attack the second level of that defense with Noah Gray.
Cool. I'm down. TK 106. How much will the cracked helmet sell for? I think it's going to go like it might be $1 million sale. I think it's going to take a while. I'll bet you it goes home with Patrick.
Oh yeah, I bet you it does. He's gonna. That's kind of a piece of history, right?
Yeah.
The third coldest game in NFL history. The first time that's happened. I'm also kind of wondering if Patrick gets fined for lowering his helmet on the play. I know he was mostly trying to protect himself, but he did kind of lower his helmet to initiate contact. Yeah. So, I mean, very interesting what that's going to do. I want to see what happens there too, TK.
I'm really hopeful that Patrick will just hand it to Alan Wright and let Alan sell it, because I mean he does a hell of a lot of work on that thing, and that's going to be a pretty penny. Chiefs Knicks fan, nice to see you, buddy. And good to see you as well. Hard, yes, even with his mistakes, offense was looking better. We don't disagree, at least I don't.
Not even a little bit. And again, the problem is that I think you still have to keep chucking it to him. Like you have to. Because you have to keep the defense honest. And eventually, he's going to break one. Whether it's a short for a big play or it's a deep ball that he finds a way to track. And good news for the Chiefs playing in Buffalo. They don't have to worry about the lights. It is exponentially more difficult to catch the ball at night in Kansas City. We have statistical evidence that proves it, and they're not going to have to do that. So maybe that helps too.
Yeah, don't hold your breath. I'm just saying. Thanks. Appreciate you, Knicks fan. You too, Tom. Third in a row. Appreciate you, buddy. Will you be able to take advantage of the Bills better given their injuries at linebacker? Yes, that's what we were just talking about. Good timing. Will they double or bracket Rice too, freeing up others? Yes, I do think they're going to try to run a double bracket on he and Kels, and it's going to be up to somebody else to make some plays.
I think that's dangerous with their defensive injuries personally. It'll be tough on them, and I think you probably have to early in the game to see what happens. But that's when McCole Hardman comes into effect. Get him on drag routes, get him on over the middle of the field, and just start burning them one-on-one if you can. That's what I would do personally, but we'll see.
I'm totally with you. Thanks, Tom, again, and glad you made it home safe. What are you guys placing? Got this one, Quentin. Appreciate you very much. Odds for this game. I put the Chiefs probably. I don't know how to convert it to lines because I don't bet that way. I give the Chiefs probably 62% chance of winning.
I'll speak of this in betting terms. I think the Bills are going to be favored in this game. I think they'll be favored by 3 points. I think it'll be a -3, maybe goes to -2 by the time game time starts, and more injury information comes available. But that just tells you that they believe that these teams are equal on a neutral field. And with that, as Patrick as an underdog in this football game, I think they have a 70% chance of winning.
Underdog fantasy, by the way, you can get those bets in as well. You can line that
RGR.
up. Bada boom. We'll tell you more about that here on Friday. But you guys want to go get signed up, support the folks that support us. We would appreciate it. Quentin, thank you for your super chat. We appreciate you, buddy. Knicks fan, I say give him moves.
MVS.
Moves. Oh, okay. I said give him MVS. He must have been talking about the Raiders. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough, buddy. Conveyor belt. Mr. Holland, one of our mods, give him a hand.
Thank you, Gary.
Nice to see you, Gary. Do you see the Pacheco having 70 to 100 yards for the Bills games? Absolutely. As long as Andy doesn't just bail on him.
I think he's going to continue to get 18 plus touches in the postseason because they need it. It's not even just Pacheco. They need the run game for this specific type of offense. They do. And I know that this is old school thinking that you have Patrick, but even in a game where it was cold as hell and they came out throwing, Patrick had 40 dropbacks in that game. Pacheco had 24 carries. Yep. 24. And they had multiple explosive runs. I chart explosive runs 10 or more. Multiple explosive runs.
They've been listening to us or something.
And Clyde had a big one too, where he just drug guys. Like they will and can be successful, large part because the Bills know the Chiefs want to throw the football. That should get them some lighter boxes, and they should be able to take advantage of it.
I completely agree with you. Thanks, Garrett, and appreciate you being here always, buddy. Quentin, another one of our members, and folks, remember, we're going to do a members-only stream tonight later in the second half of the last game of the wild card here on the Bucks and Eagles. We're running a little bit late, so we may not be right at the start of the second half because I got to get some dinner and stuff. But here, let's just call it fourth quarter. Tune in here. We'll watch it together, and I think I have it figured out so we can do something cool. Quentin, thank you for your super chat. I know it's early, but if you were Veach, what order are you drafting positions in? Not necessarily who at each position, just the position. There's less availability at tackle, but I don't think there'll be anybody there. So I'm going to go wide receiver, tackle, and probably DT.
I think those are the three main needs in terms of day one and day two. And I'm still on wide receiver in round one. I still am. And then I'm with Ryan. It's wide receiver, tackle, defense tackle.
I might go wide out, tackle, wide out. Just watch me. I don't know.
Double down. Double down. Honestly, if you don't like what you got there, do it.
Yeah. Thank you, Quentin. Appreciate you as always, buddy. Cody, thank you. Good to see you. So the offensive competence or the defensive shutdown. If Sky or Tony come back, how do you feel about the offense, including them? Sparingly is how I would include them, unless you're desperate. But for me, the bigger thing was the defensive shutdown than the offense taking care of business.
I'll be honest, I expected them to shut down the Miami Dolphins offense. I was not worried about that at all. I know that Tua is not even just a weather quarterback. He is a quarterback that needs a perfect situation. And he didn't have a perfect situation, not even close to it. So for me, the more impressive thing was watching Patrick Mahomes call out every single blitz that happened and him elevating his game from what we saw in the regular season to the postseason, because it was a huge difference in delivering the football at all levels of the field, because he was on the money on those deep balls. McCall Harmon just lost them.
Yeah. Do you really think that Andy know what this team is and will run the ball, or really turn his back, his pass happy Andy? I think he's okay. If they hadn't run it so much, even in the weather, I would feel like, okay, maybe Andy's going to be Andy. And yes, the weather helped him make that decision, but I do think that he understands he has to do that to win ball games.
Yeah, I think that they do. I'm going to keep saying it. From the time they hit rock bottom against the Raiders, I think they realized what they had to do.
Yeah, I'm with you. This one's for you. Do you think, and thank you, Mark, appreciate the super chat and the support as always. Do you think Xavier Worthy could fall to us in the second?
No, I don't think so, because the Chiefs are going to be picking at the end of the second round. If he doesn't go in the first, at the end of the first, he's going to go in the first 10 picks in the second round. So again, unless they trade up once again to get inside the 40s or the 30s, I don't necessarily think that they'll have that opportunity.
I have him high as well, so I'm with you. Second way, what's up with the red zone offense? I just think it's just a lack. It's a youth thing partially, and it's just a lack of confidence, really. I think last week's run game probably gave them some confidence. I hope they get in the red zone and they run the ball a little bit more, because
Where'd you go? Are you still there?
Yeah, I went crazy.
Oh,
Who
okay.
knows?
Sorry, I didn't hear you all the way. So for me, if we don't have that penalty on Jawan Taylor, that's 3 touchdowns in the red zone and then a couple field goals. You're feeling a lot better about the execution on that. But when you do have execution problems all season, they become more magnified in the red zone. So they're not executing at a huge high level to begin with. So they move the ball really, really well. And then you have a missed block here. You have a missed assignment there. But also, I think in this game, they were kind of worried about the end zones. And they didn't want to really take shots into those end zones and have people get hurt, specifically the one on the right. And that played into it, in my opinion. So I'm not super worried yet in the postseason. We'll see. Because, again, they should have had 3 touchdowns in the red zone. They did actually have 3 touchdowns. So I'm less worried about it than I was.
Hey, that's a plus. I'll take it. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you. Folks, we're going to speed through here and wrap it up in just a second. Mike, welcome to Thailand. Hope you have a great vacation. Let's go for a road playoff.
Yeah.
There. Nice to see you, and thank you for the 31 months, my friend. Very much appreciated. Alex, I don't have a lot to say about McNamara. I didn't watch him for film review. I don't know if you did, Dan.
I watched McNamara for a couple years at Michigan. He's a game manager quarterback. You're not getting very much upgrade. I mean, you're getting better, more competent quarterback play, but in terms of upside, there's nothing there for Cade.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you though, Alex and Tom. Way too early. Game pick Chiefs 27-20. I like it.
All right, Tom.
I like it. Oh,
I like that too.
I hope you're right. And thank you for everything tonight. Glad you had a good time. And thanks, pal. Last one from Knicks fan. What did y'all think of
that was supposed to say Cowboys game?
I was like, oyster shame, huh? Okay.
I know.
But you could say that because they were like a dead fish in many ways. So I was a bit surprised, I gotta tell you. I didn't feel like they I'm guessing they just overlooked the Packers, is the way it feels like to me. What did you think?
They struggle against that the Shanahan tree. The defense does, and what Matt LaFleur does is that run game. They do a lot of the same stuff. They bring out extra tight ends and they run the football. They run play action off of it. And if you have issues specifically with your linebackers because their linebackers aren't good. Their linebackers are really bad, and they attack them over the middle of the field countless times. Dan Quinn is not a head coach, guys. He is not a head coach. He's needs a perfect defensive system to execute, and he cannot execute against a Shanahan Treed type of offense. He can't. Yeah. We just watched it again. So I thought that the Cowboys were going to win. I did not expect that type of offensive output from the Packers. I didn't, even with the unfortunate stuff that we've seen from the Shanahan tree. So I was a little floored by the 40+ on them. I thought it would be closer than that. But at the end of the day, man, I'm telling you, Jordan Love looks really good. Looks really good.
He's firing on all cylinders. Spending that time with LaFleur has paid off.
Absolutely.
We got one more comment in. Want to welcome Wink.
Thank you, Wink.
3 months member. Hope that we'll catch up with you here in a bit. Can we sign Snead and Christian Wilkins? It'd be a stretch, but it is a possibility in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think it's within the realm of possibilities. You're going to get Snead cheaper than you probably thought halfway, nearly the end of the season. And I think you might be able to get Wilkins. It's going to be less expensive than Chris Jones, that's for sure. So, again, and we'll see.
I hope so. Folks, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for being with us. Thanks for all the super chats and the new members. For you new members, if you're a rookie level or above, or if you're a draft pick right now and you want to go upgrade, go hit that in an hour, maybe an hour and a half. We'll get back on. You'll be able to get it. It should be in on the main page. It's on the members vids playlist. It's right up front, and we're going to watch this together to close out the wild card round. I'm going to eat some dinner in between, and we'll get there. So we're going to aim at the fourth quarter and watch that out together, okay? Thank you for being here, Dan. Right?
What?
Does that work for you?
Yeah, I'm good to go. Like we're looking at 11:31 left in the second. We might even come in around sometime in the third quarter still. So you guys make sure to get in there if you're not already part of members, even just for a month, to come see what we're going to talk about and how we treat the members area. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, I think so. It is now officially 13 below here at my house. Clearly my internet is not surviving very well. So cross your fingers. We'll see y'all later.